Hello everyone and welcome to another one of my videos. Today I'll be going over the game that I played against Magnus Carlsen in Freestyle Friday. So after a long time I was playing Freestyle Fridays after all a lot of OTB tournaments and I was not expecting much, but somehow I was on 3 out of 3 and then I faced Magnus suddenly and I had actually lost back to back 9 games to him in chess.com, so I was really close to getting adopted, but I actually did not know that during the game. But I played pretty decently and we'll go over the game now. So this was the first position, which is looks pretty good for white. Uh, Pretty balanced, like nothing too much. One of the tactics that might work is on the h7 pawn. That of course we check for every move in freestyle chess, and that is why like the first move is pretty obvious. C4, controlling the center, opening the bishop and threatening bishop h7. So I played the first move c4. Here Magnus didn't respond knight g6, which was like the most normal move, or even c5, which would have went into some kind of a tactical situation in the like so early as on move 2, but he didn't go for that. He went for the pretty show off move, that is castle on move 1, which also like works pretty well. Protecting the h7 pawn, castling is also always a good move. Then I went bishop b3, getting the other bishop into the game, and these two move is pretty easy for me to play in freestyle because it not only controls the center but also gets both the bishops into the game as early as move 2. He went c5, same way, knight g3, so I'm also defending against this. I didn't go for castle because I wasn't sure that I needed to get the king to safety just yet. Maybe h4 or h5, some kind of ideas might work in the future if he goes knight g6. He went b6. So this c4 and b3 is pretty common for both the sides, getting the both the bishops into the game. Here it was a bit of a dilemma for me, like which way to go, this way or this way. If I remember correctly, I had played this kind of position before in freestyle and I had gone knight e3. But here the problem is black generally goes knight c6 and knight d4. And as this e3 knight is covering the e3 square for my pawn, if he goes for something like this, knight d4, I'm not able to play e3 and get rid of this knight. That's why I thought a bit and played knight c3. So my idea is pretty same. I'm controlling the d5 square, and if needed, I'll play e3 in the future to control the d4 square. He went e6. He also is playing similarly. I went e3. Here he went f5, which is very interesting. He was trying definitely to like complicate the position a bit, break the symmetry. I was thinking he might go for d5 here. Uh, then I maybe go for this cd5, ed5, and then castle most probably. I'm not sure if how good this is, allowing d4 and all, but it looked pretty decent to me during the game. But he went for f5, and okay, this is blitz, so I don't have much time. And one thing that I was a bit surprised that he was thinking a long time, like he's already 40 seconds down. Also, maybe he was streaming, so that's why he was a bit slow. I went for f4 here. Okay, I could have gone for castle, but I was not sure about f5, f4, e4, bishop f4, and like ruining my pawn structure. So I thought f4 is fine. Okay, engine doesn't agree, but okay. He went knight c6, a pretty normal move. Here actually I went castle, which is again a pretty normal move, but the engine somehow likes this queen e2 first. Okay, this kind of move are a bit difficult for humans because the idea of this is that white wants to go knight h5 and knight g7, utilizing this bishop Okay, I missed this. Queen e2. He went knight f7, trying to reroute the knight like this. I went rook d1, trying to gain the center. Even though the pieces are awkwardly placed in freestyle, the general rules and ideas are same, that the white wants to take over the center. So here I am planning to go d4 next. He went knight h6. I went d4. The key point is if he takes, I take back, and f4 is protected by the rook. Here I was thinking he might go for something like d5. Takes knight d5 and like sacrifice the pawn for opening up the bishop. But I was so happy with this. Okay, he did not go for cd4 and he went for knight e7. Okay, engine gives a question mark. I can understand why. I was also about to play d5 here, which is the best move according to the engine. But I don't know why I didn't play. For a glance I saw ed5, knight d5, knight d5, cd5, and I thought maybe black has some kind of pressure on the e3 pawn. The e3 pawn is a bit backward, and like he can play bishop d6 and all. So I didn't want to go into this kind of position. But the point is, this pawn is way too strong, and this is like almost killing the black bishop. Okay, so I went for dc5, bc5, and knight b5. I saw this nice juicy square on d6, and I just went for it. And not only that, I get to d6, I also like grab the b8 bishop like guaranteedly. He went a6. Actually, knight b5 is a mistake here because actually we both missed it. Black had d5, which is of course not what I wanted him to get, because now I don't have knight d6. But I might have played something like bishop e5 and exchange the dark square bishops. Something like maybe if he had gone dc4, then knight d6, bishop d6, rook d6, and still I have this very strong e5 bishop, even though I'm a pawn down. But he went a6, which is okay, a bad move. I went knight d6, bishop d6, rook d6, bishop c6. Even though I have like this very strong bishop, his position is also like very solid. Like the bishop is protecting the d7 pawn, so I don't have much on the d7 pawn, and like the knights might be jumping in and like going for my king. Now I played queen e2, which the computer was suggesting like 5 moves back. Now I see the idea, knight h5, but it's kind of too late for that, because he played queen g6, and here if I had gone knight h5, I think most probably he can even just simply go rook f7, and I don't have much, because if I take, he can just take back with the rook, and he has 2 pieces for the rook. So I went e4 here. So this bishop is just staring at this pawn, and I need to open up the position as I have the double bishops. So e4, he takes, I take back, and now you can see this 2 bishops are opening up, and I'm threatening knight g5 and bishop h7, so which is very strong. He goes for knight f5, rook d1. Okay, rook d1 is a bit bad. I think I could have gone rook d2, I guess, here, keeping an eye on the g2 pawn, but okay. This is blitz. I went rook d1, he went queen h6, and now I went rook d3 back. This is definitely a mistake, because I missed the next move that he had. So I was just threatening rook h3, and I thought maybe he'll just come back, and maybe I can go something like rook h3 again. But the problem here is after rook d3 he has a very nice move, and I don't really have too much options against it. Knight g6. He's threatening knight f4, and if I go rook h3, he has knight f4, rook h6, knight e2 check, which is very important. When I move, he can even go for something like knight g3. Knight g3, knight g3, h3, rook f1, king h2, g8-6, and like white is clearly lost. So rook h3 is not possible here. And okay, so what else can I play? If I go knight g5 here, he has knight f4, rook f4, queen g5. Again, like black is much better here. So like maybe something like this, rook f3. He still has knight h4 and then knight f4. So that's also not possible. If I move my queen, then this knight is hanging. So even though I did not want to play this move, it's kind of forced here. That is g3. The problem is why I didn't want to play this is because this bishop is getting way too stronger now. The h1a diagonal is now open. Some kind of knight g3 might come in the future, knight f4 in the future, knight h4, queen h3 and all. So this is not really a move that you want to play against Magnus. But here it was forced. And he played e5 like immediately. Okay, so this is typical Magnus move. Like I didn't even consider e5 here. Like why would I consider e5? Because for me this g3 move is a weakening move, and I thought maybe he'll play queen h3 or something like this. But e5 is definitely the best move in this position according to the engine also. And Magnus plays it. I take on e5 with the pawn. He goes knight d4, which is again the best move. This is the type of moves that that is a bit higher than my level. Like I wouldn't consider this moves when I play g3 in a blitz game, but of course he plays it. Thankfully I have rook f8, bishop d4, ed4 and rook d4. Here I am 2 pawns up, and if black goes queen c1, I have rook d1 back. So he can't go there. If he goes like bishop e4, then I can just simply go bishop e4. So he goes knight e5. So for the moment it looks very scary for white. Black queen is coming to c1, knight is coming to f3, this bishop is open. It looks very deadly for white, but there's a very nice move for me, which I guess he also missed here, and which absolutely destroys all kind of threats for black, and that is knight d2. And engine also agrees this. So I'm just simply covering the f3 square, and not only that, I'm also covering the c1 square. And with this move I'm like covering all of black's threats, and I'll play knight bishop e4 next. According to the engine here, black should have gone queen d2, which I also saw, but this is just way too much. Like I thought I am fine here. I'll play rook d2, knight f3, queen f3, rook f3, and I'm a full pawn up, and I can never really lose this game. I'll have a very pleasant game from here. But surprisingly here, he went queen h3. The point is, queen h3 is not really threatening anything for black. Even something like bishop e4 is enough for white to be plus, like covering the bishop, and if I can exchange this bishop, then I'm just clearly winning. I have a extra pawn, I have a pretty good pawn structure. But I was almost going to play bishop if I had like put the bishop on e4 also, but before releasing I suddenly saw rook h4 here, which he had missed. This only works because queen h doesn't really have any threats. Rook f1 is covered by knight and queen, knight f3 is covered by knight, queen g2 is covered by queen. So queen h3 was like a blank move. I think he also said it after the game. So I went rook h4, he went queen e6 forced. I went bishop h7, he went king f7. Like this is forced because if he goes king h8, I can go bishop g6, king g8, rook h8, king h8, queen h7, king g8, queen h7 mate. And so of course he has to go king f7. And here it's a bit tricky because I didn't see any like immediate win for white. And for example, like if I go for something stupid here like bishop c2, he can go knight f3 and just take my queen. So I had to be a bit careful here. So I went bishop e4, just neutralizing this bishop, and I'm 2 pawns up. And this also like covers knight f3. He went g5. Okay, g5 is like a last try gamble, as you can say. He has 4 seconds, I have 1 minute, I have a clearly winning position. I think even queen h5 should be winning here, even rook h7, but I didn't want to take any chances, and I just went for bishop c6, the equalizing move, and like getting rid of any kind of threats from black. Bishop c6, it's an exclamation move because it's just leaving the rook on attack, and but he can't take it because I have bishop d5, which pins the queen, king and queen. So he takes with the pawn, and I went rook e4, rook e8, Actually, before I played rook e4, I was thinking like rook e4, rook e8. Okay, how do I like convert this? I have to like again play a bit, and you don't really want to play normal moves against Magnus. Like he'll find some tricks and all, and he'll trick you. So I was thinking maybe I can go queen h5, knight g6, rook e4, and suddenly I saw, okay, I have knight f3. No? The point is, okay, I definitely wanted to play this because this is a pin and I'm threatening the queen. But like at first glance, I saw knight f3, queen, and like he can take back with the queen, the rook, and it's a check. But here I have this queen f3 check, which is very important now. Like I'm capturing back the knight with a check, and if he goes here, I can just simply go queen f6, king f6, and rook e8. So after knight f3, he resigned. So I would say this was like a pretty smooth game for me, which I did not expect because I'm playing freestyle after a long time, and Magnus is playing regularly. But I somehow played really well today. I I was 4 out of 4, but I lost back-to-back 2 games with Jeffrey and Lazovic, as you can see. And then I drew a clearly winning game against Bansko. But after that, I made a good recovery and won back-to-back 4 games. I scored 8.5 out of 11 and came sixth, barely missing the prize. But yeah, a good tournament. And thank you everyone for watching the video. If you like it, please like and subscribe. And hopefully, I'll be back with more videos in the future. Thank you. Bye bye.